Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. It's been a while since we talked to y'all. I want to say since our Tuesday episode had dropped. Of course, we're actually Wednesday. No,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
one of those days. It's been a while. We wanted to write it. We were thinking of doing that episode for Game Five, but hey, we were riding the streak that the Astros were doing over there in Arlington at Globe Life Field. Astros are up 3-2 in the ALCS, episode 139. That's going to be the title. Angel, how are we feeling, my man? How we're feeling. Obviously, it's the weekend. How are the vibes? How are the vibes over here?
I would say the same as last time. I know we talked when the Astros were 2-0. Well, I'm sorry, we're 0-2. We kind of said, not worried. But
Yeah.
I'm still in the same because yes, the Astros are up 3-2, but now they got to win at home, and that's been kind of like a little tough task for the Astros. But the way they performed, I mean, I'm confident, but they just gotta, they just gotta show up. And when they went 2-0, like I said, 2019 vibes, right? And hopefully those vibes are over because we actually need to win at home, right? So,
Yeah.
that's it. 2019 out the window, throw it out, win at home.
Yes, if nobody knows, I'm feel like everybody knows about that series, but you remember the 2019 World Series against the Nationals, Angels referring to nobody won a game at home. And this series, every team has won on the road. Obviously, the Rangers taking two at Minute Maid, and then the Astros taking three at Globe Life Field. Um, yeah, I mean, you got to feel confident. You got to feel really good about your chances of winning at home. But like you're saying, they're 1-3 this year in the postseason at Minute Maid Park. They haven't won a game since Game One of the ALDS when Jordan Alvarez had that pair of home runs, and I mean it was really great to see from him. And then he said, I mean, he's still performing too as we're talking. But Angel, I mean, well, before we get started, we're gonna give the recaps of ALCS Game 3 and 4. We won't go into too much depth with that one, but we'll do Game 5 because Game 5, I'm not gonna lie to you, Angel, it was a roller coaster, and emotions were high, low. I mean, crazy game. What a game that was. Really baseball, even if you remember seeing the Diamondbacks and Phillies game for, I think it was game 4. But talk about that real quick. Thoughts on the Bryan Abreu incident. If everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about that. We'll talk about and give our thoughts on it as well as the Astros from them 3 games at Globe Life Field. That puts their record at 9-1 this year at Globe Life, which is pretty good. I mean, the Astros are a really great road team. And then 2 more things: preview Game 6 of the pitching matchup between Nathan Uvalde and Framber Valdez, and last but not least, we will do one offensive / pitching MVPs and a hot take for Game 6. But Angel, how about you give us these recaps of the ALCS, because the Astros, like you said, 0-2. A lot of people were worried, and so they weren't the confident side. But like I was saying, this team is really good on the road. The record shows on the road that they're really great. Tell me about it. I mean, give us the recaps of them 3 games.
Yeah. So game three, we're gonna zoom by this one because the Astros offense did show up against Scherzer, and you caught that one. I know like we're like in a debate of on paper it was set up perfectly for the Rangers where they had Scherzer pitching game three to take that 3-0 lead, but
Mhm.
you said he was gonna struggle. He did, and the Astros were glad Scherzer was there because they put a roping on him. Jose had 2-8, 2 for 5, a home run. That was a solo shot. Jordan Alvarez 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Jose Abreu 1 for 5 with an RBI. Kyle Tucker finally hit that hit column 1 for 2 with 3 walks. And Mauricio Dubon, have yourself a game 3 for
Mhm.
4 with an RBI. So it was a great offensive performance, but even better, Christian Javier as well.
Yeah.
5 and 2/3 of an innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 85 pitches, 51 were strikes, and it's back-to-back starts with 80 plus pitches. But that's back-to-back great starts by Christian Javier. And the reason why, like, even though the offense did show up, it was much needed. But the reason why I say crucial for Christian Javier is because you know his record this season. He couldn't go by 4 or 5 innings. Like he had a stretch where he was 4 and 2/3, 4 and 2/3. Just continuing that struggled to get by, but it's a different roller coaster. And like you wrote about him, he's
Yeah,
ready.
which is interesting too. Real quick before we move on to Game 4, someone in the media had asked him, what is your favorite reptile? From all the reptiles, you could go with snake being one of the most venomous creatures. Of course, a crocodile as well. And then the lizard. I mean, he can even pick a tortoise if he wanted to, but he said crocodile because when they're in the water, they tend to get aggressive. I mean, he did his job against this Rangers offense, which it looks great on paper. You got all stars on that team as well. And then plus his scoreless streak ends with that 2-run homer from Josh Jung. So just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah,
Yeah.
steady performance from Christian Javier.
Yeah, and much needed because again that was a must win for the Astros, so they don't fall 3-0 because as history holds, it's much harder to come back from 3-0 and 2-0, and I think only one team has done that, and it's the Boston Red Sox. Um, but yeah, down 2-0, 2-1, you feel a little bit more confident, especially how the Astros performed, and it continued a trend here, scoring in the first inning for the Astros. It happened again in Game 4. Double-digit runs for the offense as well. Jose Altuve 3 for 4 with a double and a walk. Mauricio Dubon kept on hitting 2 for 5. Alex Bregman 1 for 3. Jordan Alvarez 2 for 4, and then Jose Abreu, my X factor, the one I said had to show up in order for the Astros to win, and that's exactly what happened. A huge, and I mean huge, 3-run shot to put the Astros on the board and to get. I believe that was Nathan Novaldi pitching that game. No, I'm
No, no,
mistaken.
no. It was a bullpen game from Andrew
Bullpen guy.
Heaney
Heaney.
to
Yeah, you're
Dane
right.
Dunning.
Yeah. But the Astros, the Rangers bullpen has had its struggles, but they were doing pretty good in the postseason, and like they said, they came through. But Jose Urquidy did struggle. He pitched 2 2/3 of an inning, so the bullpen had to come up and finish it off, and they were phenomenal. 6 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Ryan Stanek pitched 2/3 of an inning. But shout out to Hunter Brown.
Hunter Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter Brown, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. I don't know if you saw that umpire cam on his 99-mile-per-hour
Oh yeah.
fastball.
That just that little punch real quick.
In the blink of an eye, that ball was already in the catcher's glove. Like that was smooth. I kind of like that camera angle. It just shows like it gives like the average fan like a little glimpse of how hard it is to hit a baseball. And I mean, I like if I was up there, I'm gonna take a swing with my eyes closed. Do I hit it? I don't know. Maybe I get lucky, but I was that's hard. 99 forever, perfectly located. But Phil Mayton came in 2 innings in relief, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Then Rafael Montero, an inning, a walk, and a strikeout. Now the reason
Yeah.
why, go ahead, go ahead.
Real quick, I want to mention with Hunter Brown. I mean, I said myself, I was like, if I'm taking somebody off the roster for the ALCS, it was going to be Hunter Brown. I just love when the players prove people wrong, just like me. And Hunter Brown did his job going 3 innings with. I mean, they needed somebody eat some innings, and they had a starting pitcher out there that's pitched a lot of innings in his first regular season in the MLB, and he showed out right there in a pivotal game. Really, like you're saying, Game 4, Game 3, 2-1, and then Game 4, it's either the Rangers going to go 3-1 or they'll have the series tied. But yeah, shout out to Hunter Brown. I mean, Diesel is his nickname for a reason. Angel shoot 99 on the radar gun, dude. That guy's throwing heat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the reason why we zoomed through is because again, you have seen the games, but Game 5 is just a story in the making. So I'm gonna take our time for that one. Um, Again, the trend for the Astros that they need to keep that trend going to Game 6 is scoring in the first inning. Um, Altuve got out right away, but Alex Bregman and so did Mauricio Dubon, but Alex Bregman responded with a solo home run, and that got the scoring started. After great innings by Justin Verlander, Nathaniel Lowe responds with a solo home run in the 5th inning, and then I think like I think Dusty made the right call hanging in with Justin Verlander. That's your game picture. He
Mhm.
just one mistake. I feel like or like 2 mistakes he made, and one was to Adolis Garcia in that 3-run home run to take a 4-2 lead. He hit the fastball inside and in, and El Bombi made him pay for it. It was a shot. Like
Yeah.
I think that was a no doubter. Stared at it, walked it, slammed the bat, and then made his way through the bases. But overall, again, it may look like a bad outing, but I think Verlander did a job. It's baseball. Something like a mistake happens. It could have easily been a better pitch. Could have easily been the third out of the inning. Just didn't
Mhm.
execute, but he pitched 5 2/3. 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Now, I'm gonna say Jose Altuve. I'm saying it right now. I think everybody knows it right now, but he's the best Astro. He's the best player to ever
Oh
wear
yeah,
the Astros uniform. Like I think
exactly.
this home run just cemented that. Like passing Hall of Famers Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell, because the postseason numbers speak for itself. 3 home runs shy from Manny Ramirez for that home run record. And honestly, I think he can tie it this year.
There's a great chance if they could win that 6, which we'll give you the preview in a minute, but he has a great chance. He honestly does. He had 2 home runs at Globe Life.
Yeah.
So I honestly think he has 3 or 4 home runs in the postseason right now.
Yeah, and then with that shorter porch at Minute Maid Park, again, all the Astros have to do is hit the ball at home. But let's go back to that ninth inning with Jose Leclerc, and he's been amazing. I think
Mhm.
before this start, I mean, but like before this game 5, he was in every game in the Astros Rangers except for game 4, um, and he was lights out. I was I think he had a record of like not scoring runs for like the first like no earned runs scored in like the first 5 6 playoff games for the Rangers as well. So he was pretty amazing on that. But I think Adolis Garcia might have gotten it because he came in that 8th inning and it was a long pause because of
Mhm.
the benches clearing. I want to say brawl. It was like just the benches clearing,
Yeah.
and then which honestly I don't want to talk about this when I go into detail, but I think that kind of hurt his teammates and how Jose Abreu did it, where you don't taunt the lion, and that's what Adolis Garcia did. He
Yeah.
came right after Monty Maldonado, basically saying like not that way, like you don't do it that way. And then Monty Maldonado like,
Mhm.
what are you talking
Well,
about? And
yeah.
yeah, like it wasn't the situation to hit somebody.
Mhm.
Abreu had just walked somebody, but again, we'll go into detail. And then Dusty Baker, finally. I, I know you've been wanting to see it all
We've
season.
talked about it. We've talked about
Yeah.
it.
I know we've been wanting to see that season. Finally, I thought he was gonna have a heart attack on the field, and the Astros were gonna rally behind
Oh
that. I
my
don't
god.
know. Like,
No, you just did not say that about Dusty Baker.
I think he got a little bit more extra white hairs on his head because he was fuming.
It's
And
like it's like when the chia pets, when you
yeah,
put water in it and they start growing the grass. I think that's how he was feeling when he was talking. Gray hair was just growing and popping out of his hair.
oh yeah, he threw his hat, got ejected, and did not leave the dugout. And he said it. Yeah, he said that he didn't want to leave because he thought he didn't, it was not the right
Yep.
call, right?
Yeah.
And but honestly, I think that was important because in an ejection, Ryan Presley has a little bit of like his normal warm up routine. If an injury happens, the relief pitcher has as much time as he needs to warm up. But since it was an
Mhm.
ejection on an injury, he has his normal, those commercial break. But since Dusty Baker did not want to leave, I think he gave Ryan Presley a little bit more warm up pitches to do.
Yeah.
So I think that was pretty huge as well. And Ryan Presley looked amazing in those 2 innings. But
My God.
let's
Yeah.
go back to okay, so let's move forward. Uh, Ryan Presley gets off that 8th inning with 2 runners on, no outs, escapes the jam, and then Jose Altu what was it? Oh, Yanier Diaz, big at bat. It was 0 for 10. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited. I'm like trying to lose track
I
right
could
now.
tell. You could
Yeah,
look. You could just see it in your face right now. You're like, man.
yeah.
Yeah. I see it. I see it. Go ahead, dude. Shoot.
Yanier Diaz was 0 for 10 coming in with 5 strikeouts and a big at bat, gets a laser single through the 5-4 gap. And shout
Six
out
four.
to
6-4. 6-4.
6-4. You're right.
No, no, no. Six
No,
five.
5-4. I
Six
was I
five.
was out.
Sit.
I was right.
No, it was
Five
six
six,
five.
5-6, 5-6,
Yeah.
5-6,
Yeah.
5-6.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. It's been a long day. But but shout out to Singleton though, because he hadn't played in a game since October 1st.
That is just clap for that. Clap for
And
him, dude.
and I know you tweeted about shouting out them out, and then some people were saying, well, he didn't even swing the bat. Well, he didn't need to. He
He
didn't need
drew
to.
a walk. He
Yeah.
drew a walk. You don't have to swing. Literally, you don't have to swing. Look at. We could go to the bench warmers, baseball, movie. They had Clark at third, Richie at second, Gus at first. Who came up with bases loaded against Carlos, the Dominican pitcher? It was Howie, a kid that was eating sunblock in the dugout. comes up to the batter's box with a sword, comes up and gets hit by a pitch to help the bench warmers go to the next round. You don't have to do nothing like that.
Man, hopefully Singleton doesn't find out that you're referring to him as Hal in
No,
front of
no,
his.
I'm
I'm
referring
just
to
kidding.
an
I'm
at
just kidding.
bat. I'm
I
referring
know,
to an
no,
at bat.
I'm just messing with you. But no, yeah, he didn't have to swing a bat because
Mhm.
honestly, if he would have swung at those fastballs low and outside at the ground out, double play, we're looking at a different ball game because that's not his game, right? Like you put Josh Singleton in that spot to hit you a bomb. Like so, he's looking for something where he can do damage, work the walk, and then on a 0-1 changeup, Jose Altuve hits it over the left field wall, which baseball a game of inches because Aaron Carter has been
Very.
playing a phenomenal left field. And honestly, looking at the camera, I was like, no way he caught that. No way he caught that. And then
I think honestly, fans in Houston would be buying a bunch of new brand new flat screen TVs, I would say. If Evan Carter didn't make that play. Because like you said, Evan
yeah,
Carter's been playing a great freaking left field. And he hasn't done it with his glove. He's been doing it with his bat and his speed. That kid is special for the Rangers, dude.
yeah, I do agree. Playing great defense, like you said, he had a phenomenal offensive year as well. But with that home run, 5-4 lead, all of Houston, like you just walk outside when that happened, you would hear screams coming out of everywhere because I'm sure that got all of Houston up. And then Ryan Presley, that dog in him. And I was actually kind of like, honestly, I was kind of skeptical of Ryan Presley, not because of what he's done, it's because 2 innings. He's a one pitcher type of guy, coming in the ninth inning, but flawless, flawless.
Yeah.
2 innings, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, and the Astros sealed Game 5.
Yeah, because ninth inning pitchers in this league now is just a one inning kind of pitcher. It's not like back in the 90s, the 80s that you can throw your closer for 3 innings like a Dennis Eckersley, a Lee Smith kind of guy, Raleigh Fingers, them Hall of Fame pitchers. Now it's one and done. Just ask Jose Leclerc, which,
Yeah,
just to mention too, you missed Kyle Tucker's at bat.
I
That
did.
double helped because it was off of a Rodis Chapman as well. That double brought in Jose Leclerc from the bullpen to get that out in the eighth. And like you said, with Dusty, that whole, you know, I don't even know what you want to call it because you really can't call it a brawl. It was just a bench clearing incident going on. Dusty Baker refusing to leave the dugout. Dusty Baker's been through it all. This man's life is baseball. A player, an assistant, a head coach. This guy revolves around baseball. He's seen it, he's done it. And that's like when people were talking, what's the advantage of having two older managers in a series like this? And it just showed right there with Dusty Baker what he was doing. And yeah, I really didn't personally even thought about that until you mentioned it right now because yeah, that did give time for Ryan Presley to pitch. It sat Jose Leclerc on the bench for a little longer. I want to say somebody had said it was about a 25-minute
Hmm.
inning. So it iced Leclerc a little bit because Leclerc's command wasn't going. It wasn't pretty. Just look at that John Singleton walk. Yainer Diaz, which honestly to me, and I'm the one that said it was risky. I said it was risky because you're putting in a kid, a rookie who is 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts. He hasn't had that, great play discipline at the plate. The vision's not there. If you remember, I'm referring to game 2 of the ALCS against Nathan Uvalde with bases loaded. He was swinging that slider out of the zone.
But after that, he's not chasing as much.
Exactly. So yes, I'll say that. And what he did right there was special. And going in for the 2022 ALCS World Series MVP, which he's done it as a rookie, and he's been in those big moments. But hey, shout out to Yainer Diaz. I'm not saying the kid's not good, but in a situation like that, I'm a little shocked that they rode with it. And of course, Martin Maldonado putting John Singleton. And then, of course, you got to think about shortstop. Who's going to play shortstop? Greg
Oh,
Kessinger.
great
Great
jumping
catch.
catch. Yeah, as
So
well.
the guys on the bench did a phenomenal job. To me, at least, like I'm saying, this is my opinion, my words. I thought it was risky, but hey, that's how this game is. Sometimes you got to take the risk to, see what the outcome's going to be. And Joe Spada and Dusty Baker had a plan. Dusty Baker said today at the media that he already had a game plan before that whole incident had started, because if you remember, they were already losing at that time 4-2. So Dusty Baker, Joe Espada, just the Astros staff as a whole did a phenomenal job at that game. For Game 5.
I do agree. But let's move on to what everyone's talking about on. I mean, we're recording on a Saturday, so what everybody's talking on Saturday is the Bryan Abreu incident, right? So MLB announced Saturday that Bryan Abreu received a 2-game suspension for quote unquote intentionally throwing at Adolis Garcia. Now, to me, I don't I don't understand this. I don't understand this at all. Bryan Abreu walked the first batter, right? You're down by 2 runs late in the game, eighth inning, not the fourth, fifth, the eighth inning, and you hit somebody, right? That's not what you want to do in that situation. In that
Mm-mm.
situation, with your best reliever on the mound, you're coming at Adolis Garcia. That's why Bryan Brady was in there to get those big outs because it was what 2, 3, 4, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
So why would you send Bryan Brady to go get tossed, right? Because like you know the history with these teams. You know the umpires know that. You know they're going to
Hmm.
be at a moment's notice because their job is to have control of the game. So if they deem on control, they're going to stop it right away,
Yeah.
right? Makes no sense why that would be intentional. Every Astros player you talk about say it was unintentional. It's just Adolis Garcia had a little let the emotions best get away from him and push Marty a little bit. Had the
Yeah.
both benches clear and just created this conundrum of things that should not happen. But
Hmm.
before I go to what I think um, Brian Abreu is going to do, what was your input on all that ruckus that happened?
So, like, yeah, I had told you off air. Like, if you look at all the videos that the media had taken of Bryan Abreu yesterday, of getting you know, his point of view of it, and he said, there was no intention doing that. There was no intention. Like we talked about too. Why are you gonna throw at a guy with a runner on first, Astros losing, no outs, and a big game? So why would you want to do that? There's no intention for that. And I told you too, why would Bryan Abreu, the guy that the Astros have been leaning towards for the most high leverage situational spots in a game, if you wanted to hit and intentionally hit Adolis Garcia for the heck of it, you throw a guy that's not even supposed to be in this series. Like I said, no offense to Ronel Blanco, because that guy is, he's done a phenomenal job with the Astros this year, and he was even minor player of the year, I think, for the Astros. You could have thrown him in that situation and have him be suspended. So yeah, that's my take with that. And I also want to add too, we had talked about it off air that with that whole thing, Bryan Abreu hitting him, the command wasn't there too. If you saw that first inning, like he said, he walked him, and his fastball was just elevating. It wasn't in the strike zone at all. It was just bad. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick is Adolis Garcia. You put your hand on Maldonado. You're putting your hands and refusing to, comply with the umpire at home plate. You're trying to get around the umpire to go after Maldonado. If you even saw on the replay, he's going around home plate to go at Maldi, and he almost got to Maldi. And Maldonado kind of like, all right, well, you're gonna do this. Like he was already getting like into a stance just to protect himself. So why we're not at least, yes, there was a fine for Adolis Garcia, but hey, I think my opinion, it could have been at least a minimum 1 game suspension for putting your hands on a player for no reason that he didn't even start, but people are going to say he instigated it. You're putting your hands on an umpire as well. You're refusing to comply with the umpire, and you're just trying to get. Jordan Alvarez had to hold him back.
Yeah.
So to me, the whole situation, I don't like it. And real quick, I don't. This really doesn't mean anything, but I just found it interesting because I had saw somewhere Chris Young, the Texas Rangers general manager or owner. Well, no, he is the general manager actually.
General manager. Yeah.
He spent 3 years working for Major League Baseball. Promoted to senior vice president baseball operations in February 2020. He oversaw on-field operations and umpiring departments, serving as the league's principal liaison to major league managers. Makes you wonder, kind of, you know, but like I said, I'm not trying to instigate anything. It was just something interesting to see and read about a team that we're going against. Not we, but the Astros are going against with the Rangers, and him being a part of Major League Baseball through the years in their department, working under Rob Manfred. So,
Yeah.
like I said, not instigating anything, but it's just interesting to see that.
No, yeah, like it is odd that Adolis Garcia did not get a suspension, like you said, because honestly, he kind of initiated the entire thing, right? Like you said, went at Maudie, went around to try to go back and get to Maudie. So interesting take, but more than likely, Bryan Abreu will appeal the 2 game suspension. This is where it gets kind of, so this is per Bob then Gale. Central reliever Bryan Abreu appeals his 2 game suspension. Major League Baseball will have a hearing with him since the discipline occurred during the postseason. Major League Baseball will then determine whether Abreu will have his suspension reduced, implemented immediately, or delayed until 2024. Now, they actually are playing Game 6 and Game 7, right?
Mhm.
So there's honestly should not be a reason why he gets suspended for something you are not 100% sure of,
Oh yeah,
you
that
know,
too. Hmm.
that he hit somebody, right? You don't know. You're not 100% sure, right? So if anything, either reduce the number to 1 game or delay into 2024. I think that's the right call because honestly,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be biased just because this is an actual podcast, but there's no there's no reason why he shouldn't have gotten suspended because again, you don't
yeah,
know 100% sure.
yeah.
But
And like you said, we are an Astros podcast, but we're not trying to favor the Astros all the time. It's just something like that with the Garcia incident, which he hurt himself and his team, which you had said, I think, before that. Um, by not being in that situation, you're freezing, you're kind of holding the clerk's arm, just all the time management with that.
motivated the
But
Astros too.
yeah, so I honestly, like I said, it could have been 1 game for him, but we're not the guys that conduct all that stuff. But yeah, I agree. At least reduce it to one or delay it until 2024 because I thought that was a quick judgment to obviously because usually with them suspensions, it's like 2 days after the incident that they'll roll the suspension. Hey, this guy got suspended. This guy's gonna be suspended, and all this other stuff. So with Bryan Abreu, like you said, and it reminds me of the 2017 Astros when I had told you about with you remember the Yuli Gurriel incident with the Yu Darvish, and he got suspended, but it wasn't until the start of the 2018 season. So I agree. I could see them reducing it at least to one or delaying it until 2024, which I believe baseball fans and especially Ranger fans aren't gonna be happy about that.
And just to finish it off, going back, I know I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. The Astros saw that and they were motivated. Just look at again, Brian. Jose Abreu say you don't taunt the lion, and I
Mhm.
think although the Astros have struggled in the first 2 games at home, I, I think they roll with with that fire that was led, and I think
Yeah, and
I think
it
it'll be a different team.
yeah, and it lit a fire under the guy and under the Astros. I mean, Dusty Baker right there, and we've talked about that about the support, about not necessarily getting ejected, but going out there, talk to the blue, argue with the not argue, but you kind of like, hey, stand up for your guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
And he did right there for Bryan Abreu, which it really just didn't make sense overall, though, with the whole scenario and the whole situation. But that that got the guys going. You saw Martin. I don't know if you saw that when Presley struck out the last batter in the eighth. Martin Maldonado put his helmet, his face mask up, and kind of punched his glove like like he's energized, he's ready to go. He wants these guys to build off of that, get something started in the night, get a rally going, and sure enough, that's what they did. And he even said on the post game show on
Yeah.
FS1 that I said something. What was it?
You don't wake up the Houston
You don't
Astros.
wake up the Houston Astros, and that's what the Rangers did. And I'm like we said, we are an Astros podcast, but we're putting our baseball sense into it because
It's
if you're
phenomenal.
seeing that, if you're seeing that on the opposing team, like if we're on one team and our players do all that stuff, I mean, that's going to fire us up to go the next inning and have a plan and try to figure out a way to catch up, tie, or win the game. So, yeah, I mean, it did, and maybe it will ignite them at Minute Maid Park. I'm pretty sure that Astros fans,
That's what. Yeah.
it's going to be louder than it was from the first two games. So,
I
7 o'clock
wouldn't.
start time too.
I wouldn't even be surprised if the Boobers get to Adolis Garcia as well. So I think some Astros fans will be doing that as well.
Yeah, we will see what happens. But before we get into our, our game six pitch and preview, we even talk about our thoughts on, these three games being at Globe Life, dude. I mean, the Astros went up there, backs just against the wall. I think there was something about a 64% chance that whoever led 2-0 was going to go to the World Series. Whoever was on the losing part of it was 0 for 21 in like teams winning the ALCS. The Astros have a great chance of being that first team to do that. So, real quick, like you're saying, Angel, the Astros scored each time when they came up to the plate. The first inning, the first couple innings at least, Astros scored first in each game. First inning runs had occurred in game 4 and game 5. In the second inning, they scored the first run in game 3. I think that's how it goes. And we've talked about it over and over. If Jose Altuve or whoever's behind him, Alex Bregman, Mauricio Dubon, Michael Brantley, whoever's on, you got to find a way to get on base or score that run. And that's what they did. They put the pressure on Scherzer. They put the pressure on Andrew Heaney and making Bruce Bochy go to his bullpen with 2 outs in the first inning. That's how this offense was locked and loaded for that game. And then obviously with Jordan Montgomery, with Alex Bregman, which Montgomery still pitched pretty good. Bregman got the lead off. Well, not even the lead off, but got that solo home run going in the first for the Astros to get something started. Next, Astros offense with runners in scoring position. Fantastic. And we talked about the last time. It was dreadful. It was horrible, horrendous, all those negativity words. This time, it was great to see the Astros finally score with runners in scoring position. Game 3, they were 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Game 4, they were 8 for 16. That is a great number, 8 for 16. And then game 5, so. Now I wouldn't say it was the best. They were 2 for 7, 8 left on base. We've talked about it on our social media that they were I believe it was like 1 for 5 in one of the parts of the games with 6 men left on base. It wasn't pretty. They had a bases loaded situation. They had runners on first and second situation. They just couldn't get the big hit going. And then if they did, like for instance, Jerry Pena's single up the middle and Simeon made a great play. That's just the thing. You just tip your cap. And another one was Adolis Garcia, Robin Bregman from extra base hits in that game 5 too. So all you can do is just tip your cap, but that is a positive sign going into game 6 that the Astros were hitting with RISP, runner scoring position. Second to last of the thoughts, Angel. Besides Jordan Alvarez, we talked about somebody needed to step up in that order. 1 through 5 in that lineup needed to step up because Jordan Alvarez can't do everything. Sure enough, I think the Astros were listening to us on the way to Arlington, and they showed up. Jose Altuve, 6 for 14, dude. That's a 429 batting average. He had a double, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 1 walk.
Crazy.
And that first 2 games in Minute Maid, he was 0 for 8 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. If Altuve goes, the whole lineup goes. We've said it before, and we're going to say it again. Alex Bregman, on the other hand, it was kind of almost the same thing. The first 2 games at Minute Maid, 2 for 8 with a home run RBI. The 3 games in Arlington, it wasn't the best, 2 for 11, but he did get RBI production. I think that's the thing you could take away from this. He had a triple and home run, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Jose Abreu, that we've talked about it too, that this guy needed to get going. Go ahead.
Before you move on to Jose Abreu, Alex Bregman put up some at bats against Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like,
He was the only one seeing him really well,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Like again, like he didn't really have much to show for it. Just like I think just one hit, but he almost took him deep a few like one time, and he was on his pitches. So, and he did hit into some bad luck as well. Like Adolis Garcia made a nice grab on one like in a gapper of his, but much better at bats for Alex Bregman as well. Basically,
I think it's
what I
been
want
this.
to get at.
I think it's been this whole series though for Bregman because you remember the 2 swings that he had on Evan Carter, and Carter just
Yeah.
doing rookie things out there. But yeah, real quick, Jose Abreu 1 for 7 with 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in those first 2 games at Minute Maid. Goes to Globe Life. Like I said, it's not the best, but 3 for 12. 250 batting average. Okay, yeah, the 250 batting average doesn't sound really great, but 1 double, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's working the count. That's great. Striking out, of course, you're going to see that come and go. But we talked about the Jose Abreu from the ALDS needs to show up for the Astros if they're going to want to get going and produce a lot of runs in the lineup. And sure enough, that's what he did. Last but not least, a fan favorite, I believe, in Minute Maid Park. Of course, he has his own section in right field with a bunch of crowns. That is Mr. Kyle Tucker. 0 for 8 with the strikeout. He's had a rough postseason, like rough postseason. 0 for 8 with the strikeout. Minute Maid, them 2 games. That's a 91 batting average. These 3 games on the road. Different player. Dusty, of course, bringing him down to the lineup. I think it was a great call for Dusty just to get him going. 300 batting average. He was 3 for 10. 1 double, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. You look at that and you're like, that doesn't sound like it's a lot of production. But honestly, the 4 walks, the guy could steal bases if people forget that. The man could run. And honestly, with that double we talked about earlier in the pod, it was crucial to get Jose Leclerc, and that's what they did. That's what the Rangers did. That's what Bochy did. So credit to Kyle Tucker and those at bats he was putting up. And then Angel, you got anything else before we move on to the last part
No,
of our thoughts?
we did a really good job of showing the splits on that one.
Yeah, I mean, because it's crucial because you look at it and you like, okay, the Astros only scored 4 runs on the second game, and they scored no runs in the first game. And then look where the offense came, 1 through 5. That's who needs to show up besides Kyle Tucker. Bregman, 3 RBIs, Altuve 4 RBIs, Abreu 4 RBIs. That is big. That is huge for a ball club. And then not to mention Mauricio Dubon, the Honduran legend, continues for the guy that looked up to Derek Jeter. He even got interviewed and took a picture with Derek Jeter, if you got to see that. I believe it was on the pregame show before one of the games. But Dubon, and Angel, you called it as well because we were talking about the predictions of our lineups, which we nailed that. We
Yeah,
nailed that on the coffee.
you had Michael Brantley batting second on that one, so.
And you had Mauricio Dubon maybe starting some games in center field, and that's what Dusty Baker did. I think he might have listened to the pod too as well. Never know. Anyway, Dubon 5 for 14. That's a 357 batting average, 1 RBI, 3 strikeouts. Then first 2 games, like you said, Angel. The first game he went 3 for 4. Second game 2 for 5. I mean, the guy just shows you, and we talked about he's not going to strike out a lot. 3 strikeouts ain't that bad in 3 games. He's going to put the ball in play, and that's what he did. He put the ball in play, soft contact, hard contact. He did everything he could to put the Astros in a winning position and just getting on for the guys behind him, for Jeremy Pena's, for Alex Bregman and Yordan Alvarez. He did a fascinating job at the plate. So that's all I got to say about Dubon. Angel, I don't know if you want to add on. What do you think about what he contributed in these 3 games?
He's been crucial for the Astros again, just offensively, but even defensively. He was nominated for 2 Gold Gloves at second
Yeah,
base and as a utility. And he's been sparking the offense, not just since Altuve's been gone, but I remember that White Sox series and even in the playoffs. So he's been crucial for the Astros.
yeah. If everybody remembers in the beginning of the season, 20-something game hitting streak. He'll put the ball in play, and that's what he did. No offense to Chaz, because Chaz McCormick is one of the best center fielders in Major League Baseball. But when you have a hot bat like Dubon, you have to ride him. You got to find a way to put him. You got to find a way to give him some playing time in the postseason.
And that's how deep the Astros lineup is. Chas McCormick hit a home run too, and
Yeah.
we're having this debate between Dubon and McCormick. So that's what Dusty got to work with, and it's a good problem to have.
Yep, got to write the hot hand. But let's give you that preview of the pitching matchup for Game 6 of the American League Championship Series for Sunday night. Sunday night baseball. Not going to be on ESPN. It'll be on FS1 at 7 o'clock. You got Nathan Uvalde, who is 3-0 in the postseason for the Rangers, and you have Framber Valdez, who's 0-2 for the Astros. So you look at that, you're like, okay, well, Uvalde kind of has the advantage, which he does. He's a great postseason pitcher. I'm not going to hide that. He has like a under 3 ERA in like postseason in his postseason career. So, you know, credit to him. Uvalde's last start at Houston, everybody saw it: 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. He did throw 91 pitches. He had 62 of them were strikes. He pitched out of some jams, 2 jams being specifically, of course, being the bases loaded with no outs, and then runners on, I believe it was first and third or first and second with 1 out. And I mean, this guy has postseason magic in him too. He's been there, he's done that, he's done it with the Red Sox, really throughout his whole career, and then the first time being with Texas. But the guys that got to him, Jordan Alvarez being one with the solo shot, Alex Bregman hit a solo to the Crawford boxes, and then Michael Brantley had an RBI double. I believe he had 2 hits off of him. So there's a chance that the Astros will probably have Michael Brantley lined up for Game 6. I don't know if he'll be left field, which most likely, but yeah. And then not to mention real quick, Angel, with Brantley, he didn't even had a hit in that series. Well, not even the series, but in Globe Life, he didn't have 1 hit at all. So maybe his dad comes to the game on Sunday to let him know about his front shoulder.
But yeah, and like he didn't play that game 5, so it's seeing a fresh Michael Brantley too.
Yeah, he only had a pitch hit appearance, but yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, which can we give him credit for that catch? We forgot to shout him out
Oh
on
yeah.
catch in left center.
Yeah.
Defense, like
Eh,
you said, Angel. Defense was the key of this series, and
Those legs can still move much faster than I am, so that's for sure.
36 years old, the man could do it still. But Framber Valdez, Angel, this guy had a phenomenal postseason last year. This postseason right now, he hasn't looked like Framber Valdez from 2022. His last start versus Texas, 2 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Yeah, 6 strikeouts. That's good. That's 2 2/3. That's what, about that, even 6 outs? Well, yeah. It's 6 out of 9 outs that he hadn't received, or 6 out of the 8 outs he received. So, I mean, the guy's going to throw strikes regardless. He even said it himself, but the Rangers were aggressive off of him. We talked about the breakdown of the pitches, first pitch Simeon, first pitch Seager, Garver had I think 2 pitches, Adolis had 1 pitch. They were just aggressive against him. And the first inning, the whole Rangers lineup just batted around. Adolis Garcia had an RBI single. Mitch Garver had an RBI single. Nathaniel Lowe had an RBI single. Jonah Heim, who hasn't done that much in the postseason, had a home run. So they're going to be aggressive. Simeon was 2 for 2 against Valdez. Seager was 1 for 2. That's 3 for 4 from the 1-2 guys in that lineup. And they're going to be ready come Sunday night against Valdez.
Yeah.
But
And it's
real
gonna
quick,
be go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I know you mentioned that Nathan Eovaldi has been a playoff postseason pitcher. Well, his ERA is 2.87 in the postseason,
Mhm.
compared to Framber Valdez is 4.16 in the postseason. Now, something I found odd is Framber Valdez only has 1 game where he has not allowed a run in the postseason, and that was in 2020 against the Minnesota Twins. Every other
Wow.
game, at least run or more runs have scored. Now, there was a game in 2022 where he had 2 runs, 0 earned runs, but there's only been one game where no runs have came across when Framber Valdez has came into pitch, and it's not gonna get easier from there. Like you said, the Rangers kind of torched them a little bit last start, and
Mhm.
it honestly starts with command. Like I don't know if you're gonna ask me about my my input on the.
Yeah, I mean, but go ahead. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask when we were talking. But yeah, go ahead. Give me the input. What do you think? What's Framer gonna have to do differently from the last start against the Rangers?
So what what I saw is that his he threw to the Rangers, and like they're really aggressive. He threw his sinker and his curveball, which have been his best pitches throughout the season. Now I think just command is the issue. Like he was throwing the curveball a lot, but some of them were just obvious balls that the Rangers were not going to swing at, and the sinker was left a lot out over the plate. So if he can get those two things going on, he should have much better success this start.
Yeah, because they're gonna really need it. The last time Nathan Uvalde pitched in a game in a situational game like this, go back to 2021 ALCS Game 6, Red Sox Astros. Alvarez got a big hit. Tucker had a big hit. Um, and then sure enough, the Astros had won to go to the 21 World Series. So it starts with Framber, though. I'm not even going to say the offense. The offense has done a great job. The offense, too, needs to continue that success that it had in Globe Life to carry into Minute Maid. I don't know if they're going to have to like just switch the names real quick at Minute Maid Park, put Globe Life Field on top. But it starts with Framber Valdez. If he can control, because the emotions are going to be high. I'm going to say that right now. Because if you remember, Adolis Garcia got hit. Rangers, I'm pretty sure didn't like that. There's a possibility somebody's going to get hit in the Astros. Possibility, which it'd be interesting to see in that point of the game if somebody gets thrown out automatically. But yeah, the emotions are going to be high. He just has to be mentally ready. Focus, laser focus, tunnel vision. We've talked about this so many times, but it's just the truth. That's the only way Framber is going to stay in the zone, be on point, and not nothing let him like nothing phases him. He just has to be
Yeah,
like that. And just and another thing too, just don't have a different game plan because obviously it didn't work out that first time with the Rangers hitting you every pitch. Something has to change. I'm pretty sure Josh Miller and them are going to have a different approach to this scary Rangers lineup.
yeah, and I won't be surprised if we see the changeup a little bit more as well. He only threw it 10 times, but just to get guys off that sinker and maybe they slow them down with that changeup. But I wonder if the Astros are going to be rolling with the orange jerseys again. They wore it all 3 times in Arlington, and
Yeah,
I know.
they
Go ahead.
asked him that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they asked him, and he said it doesn't matter. Um, honestly, they should. But I mean, to Framber, what he said basically is like it doesn't matter. He's the one that controls that. He has to just pitch the best he can just to help put the guys in a winning position.
But he didn't say specify as the orange or the navy one.
Nope, he didn't say
Um,
specifically which
uh,
one. Which
Although
could
he
be
does have, I mean, he does have one start this year with the orange jersey that he chose. So I wouldn't be surprised though.
wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. So it starts with him though. It honestly starts with Framber Valdez in the first inning of the game on Sunday.
Yeah, but we're gonna move on to a segment we haven't done in a while since the postseason started. Is our offense pitching MVPs and our hot takes for Game 6. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and start with you. So what you got?
You know what? Give me Jose Altuve. Give me
Of
the
course.
little Gigante 26 postseason home runs, 11 home runs in the CS, the ALCS. No other player has more home runs in the American League Championship Series than Jose Altuve. Let it ride. You're the guy that sets the table for the lineup. Remember, like we've mentioned, and we keep preaching, when Jose Altuve goes, the rest of this Astros lineup goes, and it starts with Jose Altuve. So I got him as my offensive MVP. Pitching MVP, give me Bryan Abreu. I think this is a sour taste in his mouth. That's kind of like, what the hell? You're going to suspend me for something that you don't even have the proof that I intentionally threw at Adolis Garcia, which even not even a mention. Bryan Abreu went to Garcia and told him, "Look, my fault, dude. I didn't even do it on purpose." And Garcia said BS to him.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think it left a sour taste in Bryan Abreu's mouth. You know, this guy's gonna come back. I'm pretty sure. I won't be surprised if he throws over 100 on one of the pitches. So I think it's going to be a crucial part of this game too, in a high leverage situation that Dusty's going to go to him, and Bryan Abreu is going to go out there and do what he does. And then the hot take, Angel. I mean, Nathan Uvalde, best postseason pitchers I think I've seen in a good while, at least from an Astros perspective. So I think the Astros are going to have some success this time, continue their momentum of what they've done in offense since Globe Life, and they're going to bring it back to Houston and take Nathan Uvalde out of the game early. What I mean by getting him out of the game early, I mean about to 4th to 5th inning. I'm giving it. I don't see him going the 6th. They're going to get him in the 4th or the 5th, put pressure on him, get to that Rangers bullpen, see what it does.
Well, so I guess great minds think alike because I have something similar for my hot take. I said Astros score more than 4 runs this game, despite their struggles at home and with Uvalde pitching. But yeah, I, I can see it happening again. Just this fuel that Adolis Garcia started that gave the Astros, and because of that, I'm running with my X factor, Jose Abreu. He was quick to say that him and Martin Monado were quick to say like, you know, basically like don't mess with us,
Yeah.
and I think he rolls with that. Again, crucial home run. I think he will be like a difference maker this series as well. My pitching MVP is to be Framber Valdez. I say he rides it with the boys. He picks them up and has a great outing because I'm sure every pitcher wants this, but I know Framber Valdez wants to be great
Watch
every
him
single
more.
game. Yeah, sometimes wants to be too perfect, and that's where he gets hurt. But I think what he was saying in his post conference is going back to what he did throughout the season, like you said, and just you know trusting his abilities and not like let the moment get the better of him.
Yeah, because I mean, this guy's been through it all. I mean, he's pitched in the World Series 2 times. He's gone through the bad, he's gone through the good with it. So this is a big moment right here. Game 6 of the ALCS. It could punch the Astros ticket to their 3rd consecutive World Series appearance. If you take away 2020, it could have been 4, dude. 2019,
Yeah,
2021, 2022. Just one win away. You never know what can happen. The Rangers too are coming off that nasty sweep at Globe Life. I think that left a bad taste in their mouth.
yeah,
They're gonna come firing. So it's gonna be a great game for game 6. I mean, if it's a low scoring game, it's gonna be a low scoring game, but it's gonna be a good one because like we talked about, the emotions were high from both teams. Um, great game to be witnessing if you're going to Minute Maid Park. But Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
no, again, honestly, Game 6, I think it'll be a lot better than Game 5, and that's without Tuve uh, hit- hitting that amazing ninth inning home run. But I mean, like what I'm saying is that both teams are going to give it their all. You're going to see a jousting battle between both teams, chess match between both managers, and it's going to be an exciting series.
Yeah.
Like exciting Game 6, and hopefully, I mean, the Astros can clinch it. But if they don't, I'm sure it'll be an exciting Game 7 as well.
Yeah, Astros just got to do their job. Framber got to do his job. I think, honestly, in my opinion, if Framber is a little shaky, then Dusty won't be, scared or worried just to go with the bullpen because the Astros bullpen has been doing a great job for this team. But continue to follow us at full steam ahead. Oh,
Oh,
you want one more
yeah.
thing?
Going on that note, you also have JP France, and
And he
that
pitched really well too.
he pitched really well, and you can have Hunter Brown again because of the day off as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, I do agree with you. I think Framber will have a short leash just because you have those two guys that are proven.
Yeah, but everybody got to be positive. Frember's on a positive note. He's ready to go out there and perform in front of the Minute Maid Park faithful. But follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that app, TikTok as well. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, Threads. You already know we still there. We're hanging in there. But podcast platforms, we're on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. You make sure you follow us. leave us a rate, leave us a review. We've done a great job. We've gotten some new reviews, some new ratings. So we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the comments and the nice things you said. But until then, Angel, either we'll be talking the third consecutive time or the Astros could be ending their season. We won't know that until game 6. We'll see. Until then, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend. Stay safe out there. Like I said, go Stros.
So